The Boston Marathon, presented by Modelo. Oh no, my unicorn. I will repair you. If I could just blow into it to inflate it. Oh, it helped a little, but got suds up my nose. I'm here today to share with you a recap of a project I've been calling the Working Man's 230 Marathon Project. This one goes out to all you office and corporate drones like me who've been toiling away at the 9-to-5 job behind the computer, behind the desk, but you still want to get out and run fast without dedicating so much time to it. Today we're going to learn about how I ran a 2:33 marathon, that's about 5:50 pace, at this year's 2023 Boston Marathon, only training about 45 miles a week. So hey, come here, yep. Closer, back up a little bit. Perfect. There is hope for you, working man and working woman. There is still hope for you. Keep the dream alive. I have just been basking in the afterglow of what I am wholly and in all seriousness convinced is the most beautiful race in all the world. Certainly the most beautiful road race in the world. That's the Boston Marathon. So many truly magical elements about this race, and I don't throw that word around lightly. I mean, just take a look back at these copyrighted pictures from the race. What I'm trying to do this week is just capture and bottle up some of the things I was feeling in this picture, or maybe this one, maybe this one over here, or maybe this one where I was really gassing up the crowd and just hamming it up with all the spectators. I've also just been having a lot of gratitude this last week for the friends and family that were out with me in Boston. I mean, just look at these completely ridiculous signs that some friends made, and they were lugging these things around from hamlet to hamlet on their way from Hopkinton to Boston, getting the strangest looks on the subway. So today we're going to take a little bit of time to debrief the Working Man's 230 Marathon Project, talk about how it went. Is that goal realistic? Cue the theme music! So in case you're not one of the 33 people on the planet who watched my introductory video of the Working Man's Marathon Project, I'll give you a quick recap of what this project has been. Essentially, this project has just been an effort to see how fast a normal working Joe like myself can run a marathon, doing regular amounts of training, getting regular amounts of sleep and not getting up at 5 a.m. like a bunch of you hardos out there, having a regular job, working with regular family and social commitments, and potentially eating and drinking slightly over the regular amount of Coors, Lights, and Costco chicken bakes along the way. But essentially, I'm a regular guy who has 15 solid years of running under my belt, and I want to run fast, but I don't really want to spend any more time training than I already do. You know, I want to be the runner that can run a fast marathon, but also set the local Bozeman record for the most ham and Gruyere croissants consumed at the local bakery in 1 week. What really inspired this journey is when I started looking into training plans and advice on how to run a marathon under 2 hours and 30 minutes. Let's take a look at some of these plans. As you'll see, all of these plans I'm showing you are suggesting that one needs to crank out week after week, toiling away, pounding the pavement, hitting 80+ miles a week minimum to make it happen. Many of these plans calling for 90 or even 100 miles a week. Let's just talk about the time commitment there. If you're running an average of 7-minute miles for 80 miles a week, that's 9 hours and 20 minutes a week of just jogging alone. And this doesn't even take into account any of the time you need to invest in developing catchy Strava titles, or separating out your laundry to divide your lights and your browns after speed workouts. Or maybe that's just me. I mean, sure, running a marathon under 2:30, under 2:20, under 2:10 is probably possible if you're being paid to live a monastic existence in Kenya or Eugene, Oregon, or wherever, where your only jobs are to blast mile repeats with the boys, do 90-minute ab workouts, take naps, wake up, crush a punch bowl of porridge, go back to bed, take a nap, wake up, get a 90-minute massage from your in-house masseuse. Masseuse, come massage me. On my way, sir. But what about the rest of us? You know, the working men out there, the working women, the the ones who spend our days huddled around the copier making jokes with Tim from accounting, the ones who fight the lines at Costco to get inside and then agonize if they should invest the additional money this time to buy the pack of Spindrifts instead of Kirkland's signature seltzers, even though the price per can of the Spindrift is almost twice as much, and we don't see a monthly sale coming up on the Spindrift anytime soon. Yeah. So what I've been working hard on over the past 4 months is to compile a plan that really maximizes the quality of workouts over the quantity of miles run and time run over the weeks, and focuses on really honing in on all the variables under your control on race day, like nutrition, the things you're wearing, the shoes on your feet, and all those other small variables that can add up to produce pretty significant time savings over the marathon. So the biggest thing I wanted to find out with this project is, can I average about 45 miles a week over a 16-week training block and run under a 2-hour and 30-minute marathon? Spoiler alert, I didn't run a marathon in under 2 hours and 30 minutes. But I did run a 2:33 Boston on a day with less than ideal conditions. There still is hope out there for the working man's 2:30 marathon. That's why I want to bring you along today and break down my training block and some of the other things I learned along the way. So let's break it down and get started with the training block. So the training block I used for this program, the Working Man's 2:30 Marathon Project, was more or less sticking very strictly to the Boston Athletic Association's Level 4 Boston Marathon Training Plan. This is level 4 out of 4 of the plans the BAA offers for experienced marathoners. Yes, this plan has a couple specific workouts for those people training for the Boston course, but I would certainly recommend this to anybody trying to run a fast marathon. So the general plan here and the general focus of this plan is 6 days of running every week with 1 day of complete rest. In general, the plan consists of 3 workouts every week and 3 super easy recovery runs every week. So let's take a look at a typical week in the BAA Level 4 Boston Marathon Training Plan. All right, on Mondays. Mondays are always a blissful rest day. No running. I mean, I'd say, heck, take the elevator at work. Use a wheelchair to get around. Definitely do not use your standing desk. Just sit there, loaf it up. Make people come to you for meetings, you know? Okay. Order the DiGiorno pizza. Chill. Monday is purely rest. Do not worry about cross-training on these days. It's not going to make that much of a difference. If you want to roll out to recover, sure, that's great on Monday, but let your body truly, fully rest on Mondays. Okay, on Tuesday, it's time for the hills. So anybody who's run Boston before can certainly attest that training running both uphills and downhills at a hard effort is extremely important, as you're getting trashed for the first half of the marathon running downhills. Your quads are taking a beating, and then of course the Newton Hills are hitting you from miles 16 to 21. But I would really say that these hill workouts that are typically on Tuesdays every week are great for anybody that's just trying to get stronger and become a stronger marathon runner. So there's a particular hill I ran for almost all my hill repeats in Bozeman. It is appropriately named Dump Hill because it's immediately adjacent to the dump in Bozeman. On a windy day, you'd get the scent of the trash coming up over the dump, blasting you in the face, adding some adversity to your run as your olfactory senses are just pummeled. I'd say my proudest achievement of this training block was earning Strava's local legend on Dump Hill. So these days would oftentimes look like a number of repeats, 8 to 12, 400-meter repeats hard up the hill, rest, and then running hard down the hill as well, building that uphill strength and that downhill muscular endurance as well. Wednesdays, rest day, baby. These were almost always calling for 4 to 6 easy miles. Since I am not an overachiever, if the plan's calling for 4 to 6, you know I'm taking 4. Maybe even 3.9. And these are really genuinely easy miles, rarely faster than 8 minutes per mile pace. Trust me, you're not impressing anybody by blasting 6-minute miles on your recovery day. Admittedly, I was once that guy, but I have learned in time, keep these miles as easy as feels good. Wear a squishy shoe, just get out there and plod. Keeping these days really easy are going to prepare you so much better for the hard days you've got coming on Friday and Sunday every week. Okay, Thursday, good news. It's another recovery day. Just do the exact same thing as you do on Wednesday. Keep it easy. On Friday, we've got your threshold workouts. Okay, it's go time, baby. These days always feature some amount of time running at faster than your goal marathon pace. What really helps you get prepared to run a marathon at your goal pace is spending some time running at faster than that goal pace. So that's what Fridays are all about. For me, my goal marathon pace was 5:41. So oftentimes these days were spent at 5:30 pace, or sometimes even a little bit faster, down around 5:20, depending on the workout. All right, congrats, you finished Friday. That was a doozy. Take a load off, drink a Modelo, baby, okay? Saturday, you know what's coming. It's gonna be an easy day. We're never stacking back-to-back tough workouts in this plan. So veg out, run 4 miles, hang out, watch some Ted Lasso, smoke a spliff, whatever you're into. Keep it easy. All right, but Sunday, you know what's coming on Sunday. It's Sunday run day. It's time for the long run. These typically ranged from 15 miles on the shorter end to 22 or 23 miles on the long end towards the end of the training block. The important thing about these runs is that they always featured some amount of running at goal marathon pace. So one of the test piece workouts for me was trying to hit 13 miles at goal marathon pace with like a 8-mile warm up and a 2-mile cool down. So this is really what a standard workout week looked like. I did maybe one 10-minute ab workout every week. Shout out Emma Lovewell, Crush Your Core. I would do 1 or 2 5-minute foam rolling sessions a week. But I didn't do any other strength work. I didn't spend any time in the gym. I didn't do any mobility. Very light stretching. Could I have run a little faster if I did some of those things? Maybe, but they all add a lot of time to the schedule. So that's not something this working man wanted to add for this training block. So I'm an open book here. If you want to take a closer look, my Strava is public. I think it's just Justin Barth is my Strava. I live in Bozeman, Montana. Take a look at my runs, take a look at my workouts. It's all on there. Important thing is that you have, you're doing 35, 40 miles a week consistently, and you have that good base behind you before you jump into a plan like this. Otherwise, your risk of injury is sky high. So all this is fine and dandy. You've put in hard work over 16 weeks, but what if you botch it all on a race day by not having good things like solid nutrition? So let's talk about the calories. Let's talk about the carbs. So this year I dove in real hard 3 days beforehand with carb loading versus the standard one-night mega pasta all-you-can-eat buffet a la Michael Scott in The Office. This all culminated in the day before the marathon, me eating 700, not a typo or a misspeak, 700 grams of carbs the day before. That equals 30 salted caramel goos or 2 full loaves of Dave's Killer Bread. Carbs are king. And that really topped off the glycogen tanks before race day came and hit. Of course, everybody knows race day nutrition is super important. The big takeaway here is that I upped my intake to about 70 grams of carbs per hour in the marathon this year by eating 5 gels over the course of the full marathon. Did a mix of goo and Martin. I had these at miles 4, 8, 12, 17, 21, and every 3 miles I sipped on some of the Gatorade Endurance Formula that they offered in the race. So that added some additional carbs. So I would recommend training with higher carb intake like I did throughout the training block, and then hit that hard on race day to really maximize all the fitness you worked so hard to gain. Ultimately, I think this plan worked really well. I averaged about 45 miles a week throughout the training block. I felt prepared and rested when race day came. And I felt like I could take this race on instead of feeling like a withered sack of overtrained and injury-prone bones when I hit the starting line in Hopkinton. So yes, ultimately I have let you down, and the working man hath failed to hit that sub 2:30 marathon mark. But I think the dream is alive and well for the working man to use a similar plan like this in the future and run a sub 2:30 marathon. Now this marathon helped me build a lot of confidence, and if I could do it again, especially on a flatter course on a non-windy day, I would go out for the first half marathon in about 1:14 as opposed to the 1:16 that I did in Boston this year. Start a little more aggressively and hang on through those final miles. And I think that approach would work really well. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. This whole Justy's Run List YouTube thing started out as kind of just a little goof to entertain myself and have a little creative outlet on YouTube, but I've actually really enjoyed making these videos. So if you are liking watching them as well and taking something away, whether it's just a little laugh here and there or actually building your training plan based off of this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like this, throw out a comment, and let me know what you're thinking and what you'd like to see next. I hope this fairly unserious approach to serious running has resonated with some folks out there and it inspires you to go get after it this summer and into the fall marathon season as well. This is the part of the episode where I would say some catchy tagline, a phrase, or a slogan to get you inspired to go run more and run faster. I don't have that, so for now I'll just say, working men and working women, keep the dream alive.